JobKeeper, home builder, HospoKeeper, TuroKeeper, JobMaker. Do we keep this stuff? Why does Wall Street like Joe Biden? And does the JB Hi-Fi show and tell report scream out to you, go long stocks in 2021? I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money. Well, Paul, the big story today is that JobKeeper could be replaced by not TuroKeeper, but HospoKeeper. But then they're saying, what about TuroKeeper? Tourism sector, hospitality, they're going to need it when the JobKeeper ends at the end of March. What do you reckon?
Well, when it keeps up, Peter, I think that's probably what's it's telling you. I mean, the economy is booming. I think that's the main point to come out of this. But there are sectors, hospitality and parts of the tourism area, which are still going to be, and events, which is going to do it pretty tough.
And it was caused by the government trying to fight the coronavirus.
Caused by the government trying to fight the coronavirus, caused by I think some crazy lockdowns, but that's a debate for another day. But a lot of people very, very comfortable with that stuff. State Premier is a little bit out of control, but you know, we're going to need to support, I guess, some key sectors. But overall, I think the government is right to be reining in the stimulus because there's too much money out there, Peter. The economy is really strong.
And I guess that home builder really has surprised you and me, hasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't think much of the program when it came out, Peter. I didn't actually think it was a lot.
But people take it up.
It shows you what people will do when there's a bit of free money around. Yeah. And, you know, talk to builders out there, talk to anyone in the trades. You know, tradies are busy. Yeah. You know, there's people have got... They can't go overseas, so they're spending money at homes, and you know, it's just what's happening out there. So we're seeing that in a lot of the data that's coming out, both from the ABS and also from a number of companies in those sectors.
Yeah, well, I've written today in the Switzer Daily, forget about the fiscal cliff, particularly if they keep these ones for the scary sectors, you know, like tourism, like hospitality. But apart from that, I think this economy...
The fiscal cliff was an absolute beat-up, Peter. I think in hindsight we'll put that down as a non-event, a bit like a Y2K problem. It didn't happen, but there's, you know, it's been gangbusters ever since, really.
Okay, let's talk about gangbusters on Wall Street. We thought that they didn't like Joe Biden. They love Joe Biden.
Well, I'm not sure they love Joe Biden. They're very comfortable with Janet Yellen. I think she said some positive things last night. She's the new incoming Treasury Secretary. Yep. She's going to keep, look, it's going to be a lot of bonds on issue. That she's going to support, you know, it's basically a program of keeping, you know, a lot of government programs big, a lot of infrastructure spending, a lot of government borrowing. Market didn't seem too worried about that. She didn't seem to be worried too much about trying to get the dollar down, which has been a bit of a policy of Trump, but I think that'll take its own course. And she also made some fairly tough statements about China. So it's almost a bit like status quo, one administration to the next. They're sort of giving Biden the benefit of the doubt. I think they'll come back to tax policy at some stage, Peter, but they're sort of saying, yeah, we think he's going to do the right thing. Yeah. There's not going to be anything to too much shock us in the short term. And we're Yanks and we're positive, right? That's what Americans are. That's why Wall Street's a bull market over there. How can you sell it?
And also, Paul, you should put in the fact that Biden has won the election when vaccinations are starting. And vaccinations is really the game changer. It's going to take at least to the middle of the year before real signs of benefits. But that second half, most economists, most investment experts all think second half US, really big rebound because of the vaccinations. Let's keep the fingers crossed that they're right. Finally, we've seen some really good early reports from great companies like JB Hi-Fi, which you and I like, and we always thought was going to be a real big improver. It's done well. It's also another indicator that the Aussie economy is doing well when JB Hi-Fi is doing so well.
Yeah, great report from JB Hi-Fi. Sales up 24% on a comparable basis last year. And sorry, in the second half, in the first half, and also Super Retail Group. The reason they needed to come out early, Peter, is if you don't follow this stuff at home, is as soon as the board got the December numbers, the early December numbers, and it looked at what the sales figures and the numbers that the market's got, it realised that the market is way below in terms of its understanding what's going on out there. So and they were required to tell the market because this was material new information. So that's why they came out with just a statement about sales and an EBIT number. Obviously, the final profit numbers will come out in February, but they had to tell the market. I'm not surprised, Peter. We've been saying all along, people are spending like there's no tomorrow. There's a lot of money out of there. A lot of money came out of super. All this money in JobKeeper, JobKeeper, JobMaker.
$69 billion we spend when we go overseas and we can't go overseas.
That's right. It's all going somewhere. So stay long stocks that have got a strong consumer orientation. Don't forget all the nonsense. Woolworths and Wesfarmers and all those other things, Coles, they're going to do well this year.
Yeah.
It's because people have got money to spend at supermarkets. They've got money to spend
I've
at
never
Target.
been in Big W or Bunnings in my life the way I am at the moment for God knows what reasons. I got to spend some money.
Yeah, go to your Bunnings at the weekend. You see how busy it is, right? Look. Sure, there are sectors doing it tough, but anything that's a bit discretionary and people can spend, they will. And consumer stocks and consumer-facing companies will do well in the market this year. Don't worry about the fact that the vaccine's coming. There's money to spend, Peter.
Yeah.
And it's gonna help. So,
and the best bit is, Paul, for a year, Mad About Money's been right, and it's better to be right than wrong.
And we'd like to tell you that and remind you why you should be watching every Wednesday to Mad About Money.
I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're Mad About Money.
Shh.